The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets as Alex Rivera stepped through the metal detector at LAX, his heart pounding not from fear, but from the weight of the locket tucked inside his shirt, a silver chain that had outlasted wars, lovers, and his own fractured sense of self. "Sir, we need to check your bag," the TSA agent barked, her voice slicing through the terminal's hum, eyes narrowing at the anomaly on the scanner. A small, dense shape that didn't match his sparse packing. In that frozen second, as hands rummaged through his backpack and pulled out a weathered envelope sealed with faded wax, Alex whispered to himself, "Not today. Not like this," knowing the words inside could unravel everything he'd buried for the man who died loving him. The envelope fluttered to the linoleum floor like a wounded bird, its edges curled from years of being folded and unfolded in secret. The agent, a stocky woman named Carla with a no-nonsense ponytail and a badge that read 15 years serving, picked it up gingerly, her gloved fingers brushing the inscription. "To Alex, my anchor in the storm." The room, that sterile checkpoint corralled by velvet ropes and beeping scanners, fell into a hush. Travelers shifted uneasily, phones half-raised for the inevitable viral clip. But something in Carla's face stopped them cold. A flicker of recognition, the kind that comes from holding your own ghosts. "Mr. Rivera?" she said, her voice softer now, holding the envelope like it might crumble. Alex nodded, throat tight, his transition scars itching under the collar of his flannel shirt. 32. He'd long since stopped flinching at pat-downs or secondary screenings. Being trans in America meant every airport was a gauntlet of assumptions. But this was personal. The locket burned against his chest. A talisman from Jamie, his Jamie, who'd slipped it around his neck on a rainy night in San Francisco, whispering, "Wear it when I'm gone, so you remember we're still tethered." Back in the terminal's shadow, Alex's mind reeled to that beginning, 6 years prior, when the world still felt conquerable. He'd been fresh out of UC Berkeley, a poli-sci major with dreams of advocacy work, navigating the choppy waters of top surgery recovery in a cramped Oakland apartment. The mirror had become his enemy then, binding tape peeling away layers of a body that finally felt like home, but the dysphoria lingered like fog off the bay. That's when he met Jamie Harlan at a dive bar in the Mission District, the kind of place where neon signs buzzed promises of cheap whiskey and forgotten anthems. Jamie was everything Alex wasn't. Effortlessly out, a 28-year-old graphic designer with sun-kissed blonde hair, laugh lines already etching his blue eyes, and a confidence that came from growing up gay in a liberal bubble of Santa Cruz surf towns. He was leaning against the bar, sketching on a napkin, a rough outline of the Golden Gate shrouded in mist, when Alex slid onto the stool beside him, nursing a ginger ale to dull the post-op ache. "That's beautiful," Alex had said, voice still raspy from disuse. Jamie looked up, grinned like he'd been waiting his whole life. "It's you. Or it will be, if you let me buy you a drink." What started as banter over art and activism bloomed into stolen weekends. Hikes along the Marin headlands where Jamie traced the fresh scars on Alex's chest with feather-light fingers, not as fetish but as reverence. Late-night drives down Highway 1, windows down, Bruce Springsteen blasting anthems of blue-collar longing that mirrored their own working-class roots. Alex's Mexican-American family in East LA, Jamie's Irish Catholic clan in the foggy Richmond district. They were a study in contrasts. Alex, the quiet fighter piecing together his identity like a mosaic. Jamie, the golden boy who painted murals for queer youth centers and dreamed of exhibiting in Soho. But love, in the American vein, was their great equalizer, fierce, unapologetic, stitched into the fabric of barbecues and baseball games, road trips and rainy Sundays tangled in thrift store sheets. By their first anniversary, Jamie had proposed on the deck of a ferry crossing the bay, the city lights twinkling like distant stars. Not with a diamond, too cliché, too straight, but with that locket, engraved inside. Yours in every life, Jay. Alex had cried, the kind of sobs that shake your foundation, because for the first time, he felt seen, not as a trans man navigating a cis world, but as Alex. Period. They married in a backyard ceremony in Jamie's parents' garden, officiated by a drag queen friend named Ruby Roulette, with tamales from Alex's abuela and a playlist of Judy Garland and Joni Mitchell. It was pure California magic. Fairy lights strung through jacaranda trees, vows exchanged under a rainbow flag fluttering in the breeze. I choose you, Jamie said. Every version, every scar, every dream. Alex echoed it back, his voice steady for once, believing it could last. But America doesn't hand out forever without a fight. Jamie's diagnosis came like a thunderclap 6 months later. Stage 4 lymphoma, the kind that creeps in silent and strikes hard. The doctors at UCSF painted pictures in percentages, remission chances slim, treatments brutal, but Jamie, ever the optimist, turned it into art. He sketched chemo sessions as abstract battles, the 4 drip a sword against shadowy foes. Alex became his rock, juggling freelance grant writing for trans nonprofits while holding Jamie's hand through the nausea, the hair loss that left him bald and beautiful under beanies embroidered with pride flags. Their love deepened in those sterile hospital rooms, conversations turning philosophical under the hum of monitors. What makes a life American? The pursuit of happiness. Jamie insisted, even when it hurt like hell. We're the underdogs in the greatest story ever told, he joked, voice weak but eyes fierce. Through it all, they clung to plans, a cross-country road trip once Jamie beat it, starting at the Grand Canyon and ending in New York, where Jamie would pitch his portfolio to galleries. Alex mapped routes on dog-eared atlases, dreaming of diner pie in the Midwest, fireflies in the Smokies. But whispers of doubt crept in. Jamie's family, devout but loving, struggled with the illness's shadow. His brother, a Marine stationed in Pendleton, sent care packages laced with prayers that felt like judgments. Alex's side was a whirlwind of support. Taez bringing pozole, cousins blasting Bad Bunny to drown out the beeps, but the strain showed. Late nights, Alex would stare at the ceiling, locket heavy, wondering if he was enough to pull Jamie through. The remission came, fragile as spun glass, in the spring of their 3rd year. Celebrations were tentative. A quiet dinner at Zuni Cafe, oysters and champagne, Jamie's hair growing back in soft curls. They booked tickets to New York for the fall JFK arrival. A fresh start. This is our American dream, Jamie said, clinking glasses. From sea to shining sea. Baby. Alex believed him, because believing was the only rebellion left. Now, back at LAX, as Carla held the envelope, Jamie's last letter, penned in a hospital bed 3 months ago, the cancer's return as swift as a betrayal. Alex felt the past crash into the present. The agent unsealed it slowly. The room's collective breath held. Inside, not drugs or threats, but pages of handwritten script. Jamie's looping cursive spilling secrets. Their love story, raw and radiant, a testament to a gay trans marriage that defied odds, ending with a plea. If you're reading this, Alex, I'm gone. But take my heart, literally. It's yours. Call the number at the bottom. Let them know I said yes. Carla's eyes widened, scanning the lines. Oh God, she murmured, passing it to her supervisor, a grizzled vet named Tom with a mustache like a broom bristle. The travelers leaned in, whispers rippling. What changed the room wasn't the words alone, but the donor card clipped to the page. Jamie Harlan, organ donor, his heart en route via Alex to a recipient in Boston. The locket, it held a vial of Jamie's ashes. Pinch for the journey. Security wasn't stopping a suspect. They were witnessing a final act of love, a trans man's quiet heroism carrying his husband's legacy across the country. Tom cleared his throat, voice gruff. Son, we need to verify this. But his hand on Alex's shoulder was gentle, the room transforming from suspicion to solemnity. Phones lowered. A woman in a business suit dabbed her eyes. Alex nodded, tears hot. It's real. He's real. And in that moment, the airport, that chaotic artery of American wanderlust, became a chapel. The verification call came swift, a flurry of codes and confirmations linking Alex to the New England Organ Bank. Tom's radio crackled with approvals. Carla fetched a water bottle, her tough exterior cracking like eggshell. I've got a son, she confessed quietly as they waited in a side office, the envelope spread on a metal desk like evidence in a trial of the heart. He came out last year. 17. This hits different. Alex managed a smile, the locket's chain cool against his fevered skin. Vulnerability was his currency now, traded for empathy in a nation that often bartered judgment. By 6 a.m., the all-clear sounded. No delays, no detours. Alex's flight to Boston boarded in an hour, the precious cargo cleared through a special lane. But the room's shift lingered, a ripple effect. The businesswoman who'd teared up slipped him her card. Call if you need a lawyer. Pro bono. While a family of 4 from Ohio pressed a handwritten note into his hand. You're brave. We see you. It was the kind of fleeting solidarity America excelled at. Spontaneous. Star-spangled. Gone by gate 47 but etched in memory. On the plane, strapped into a window seat over the wing, Alex let the memories flood unchecked. Post-remission, life had been a tentative waltz. Jamie dove back into work, his murals popping up on Castro Street walls. Vibrant scenes of queer icons intertwined with trans flags, commissions from the LGBT Historical Society. Alex landed a gig at a small nonprofit in the Tenderloin, lobbying for better healthcare access for trans folks. Ironic, given the binders of insurance denials stacking their kitchen table. Mornings were ritual, coffee black for Alex, oat milk lattes for Jamie, kisses stolen over the San Francisco Chronicle's op-eds decrying rising hate crimes. But cracks formed, subtle as seismic shifts. Jamie's energy flagged. Checkups revealed shadows on scans, the cancer a hydra regrowing heads. Denial was their first betrayal. Not Jamie's, but the system's. Waitlists for trials stretched months. Experimental drugs cost fortunes their freelance checks couldn't touch. This is bullshit, Alex raged one night, pacing their one-bedroom in No Valley, the city lights mocking from the fire escape. Jamie pulled him down, arms strong despite the fatigue. Then fight it with me. Write the letters. Storm the capitals. We're Americans, we sue for our rights. They did. Petitions flew to Sacramento. Rallies at City Hall where Alex spoke. Voice amplified by a bullhorn. His trans identity front and center. My husband is dying because profit trumps people. Where's the liberty in that? Jamie cheered from the crowd. Weak but wicked. Holding a sign. Cancer doesn't care about your politics. Why do you? The media nibbled. A spot on local NPR. A feature in the Bay Guardian, but bureaucracy ground slow. Friends rallied. Potlucks with vegan lasagna from Jamie's sister. Crowdfunding that hit $20,000 but fell short of the $150,000 needed for private care. Intimacy shifted too. Not to passion's detriment but to deeper waters. Nights when pain kept Jamie awake. They'd talk futures. Adoption dreams dashed by health clauses. A cabin in the Sierras for retirement. You'd grow a beard, Jamie teased, fingers mapping Alex's jaw. A trans lumberjack. Hot. Laughter bridged the gaps, but betrayal brewed elsewhere. Jamie's brother, Declan, fresh from deployment, arrived unannounced one weekend, his buzzcut and camo duffel a stark contrast to their rainbow throw pillows. He meant well, beer and bad jokes, but his offhand, Jamie was straight-laced before you landed like shrapnel. It unearthed old wounds. Declan's discomfort with their marriage, the wedding invite he'd lost, the prayers that felt like curses. The real fracture came in a hospital waiting room, rain lashing the windows like accusations. Declan cornered Alex. You're holding him back. All this fighting, it's draining him. Let him go home. To family. Alex's fists clenched, the locket swinging like a pendulum. I am family. We vowed it. Declan scoffed, eyes hard. Vows don't beat cancer. Or make you less. The slur hung unspoken, a ghost of transphobia in a progressive city. Jamie, overhearing from his bed via intercom, ended it. Get out. December. Love isn't a battlefield you win. But the seed was planted, doubt. That sly betrayer, whispering Alex wasn't enough. His identity a burden. As the plane banked east over the Rockies, Alex traced the locket's filigree, Jamie's voice echoing, "Don't let them dim you." The betrayal deepened in Jamie's final weeks. Hospice in their apartment, morphine drips and ocean sounds on loop. Declan returned, contrite, but with ultimatums. Sign Jamie over to a Catholic facility for proper care. Alex refused, barricading the door with love's fierce logic. Jamie, lucid in rare bursts, dictated the letter. Alex, if I go first, take my heart to Boston. There's a kid there, 19, waiting. Gay, like us. Give him my beat. The donor match was fate. A young man named Riley, outed and orphaned, needing a transplant after a hate crime beating. Alex's tears soaked the armrest as turbulence jostled the cabin. Betrayal wasn't just Declan's. It was the world's. Hospitals billing the dying, families fracturing under grief, a country preaching equality but rationing mercy. Yet love's counterpoint surged, Jamie's hand in his, till the end, squeezing as if to say, keep flying. Descent into Logan Airport brought crisp New England air, the Charles River glittering below. Alex deplaned into a flurry of white-coated coordinators, the envelope now a passport. But as he handed over the cooler, Jamie's heart, chilled and beating on machines, a figure waited in the cordoned hall. Declan, eyes red-rimmed, duffel at his feet. I flew commercial. To help. Alex froze, the room sterile, echoing, teetering on forgiveness's edge. Betrayal's echo, or redemption's whisper. Declan's presence was a gut punch, the kind that follows a sucker shot. Alex hadn't seen him since the hospice standoff, since the brother who'd once taught Jamie to surf now stood accused of loving too conditionally. Help, Alex echoed, voice low as surgeons whisked the cooler away. Jamie's heart on Route 207 for Riley. The Boston terminal, with its fishbowl glass and Red Sox banners, felt smaller, pressurized. Declan shifted, his marine polish fraying at the edges, stubble shadowing his jaw, eyes hollowed by transatlantic flights and unspoken regrets. I was wrong, Declan said, words tumbling like loose gravel. About everything. Jamie. He made me see. He pulled a crumpled photo from his wallet. The three of them at Point Reyes. Pre-diagnosis, Jamie mid-laugh, arms slung over Alex's shoulders. Declan awkwardly toasting with a beer. He wrote me too. Before. Said to protect you, not push you away. Alex's chest ached. The locket a anchor in the storm. Protection, From what? Declan's bigotry, or the world's? They walked to the hospital annex in silence, the autumn wind whipping leaves across Fenway's shadow. Boston pulsed with that East Coast grit. Brownstones etched with ivy. Dunkin' runs for cops on corners. The harbor's salt tang mingling with exhaust. Alex had visited once, pre-Jamie, for a trans rights conference, raw panels on bathroom bills, fists raised against federal rollbacks. Now, it was pilgrimage. Riley's story had come via the donor network. A college freshman at BU, beaten outside a Pulse memorial vigil, ribs cracked, heart bruised but not broken until infection set in. Gay, trans-curious, disowned by Bible Belt parents. Jamie's match was cosmic justice. In the waiting lounge, beige walls, vending machines humming like distant bees, Declan bought coffees. Black for Alex, loaded with cream for himself. I enlisted to escape Dad's sermons, he admitted, stirring absently. Thought straight lines would fix me. But seeing Jamie fight, loving you, it cracked the facade. Alex sipped, the bitterness grounding. Betrayal's anatomy. Declan's words had poisoned Jamie's last lucid days, forcing the letter's haste. Yet here was atonement, raw as a field dressing. Why now? Alex asked. Declan met his gaze. Because burying my brother without you? That's not family. That's cowardice. Hours blurred. Updates via pager, incision made. Heart installed. Riley stabilizing. Alex paced. Locket in hand. Flashbacks assaulting like aftershocks. The second betrayal had been subtler. Self-inflicted. During Jamie's decline, Alex's nonprofit folded under funding cuts. Trump-era defunding of LGBTQ programs. A bureaucratic gutting masked as fiscal responsibility. Jobless, he poured into caregiving, but isolation bred paranoia. Was he failing Jamie by not providing? Late one night, scrolling donor sites in desperation, Alex stumbled on a trial experimental. Overseas, promising but untested. He didn't tell Jamie, fearing false hope, but applied in secret. Emails to Zurich clinics stacking his inbox. Jamie found out via a misplaced printout. Confrontation erupting like a nor'easter. You're treating me like a kid, he yelled, voice rasping through oxygen mask. Eyes blazing. Partners decide together. Alex crumbled, confessing the terror. Losing Jamie meant losing himself. The man remade in love's forge. I'm scared, he sobbed. Jamie softened, pulling him close. Then be scared with me. No secrets. It was their vow renewed. Betrayal's sting cauterized by truth. But the trial slot came too late. Jamie signed the donor forms instead, turning fear to gift. Riley emerged from surgery at dusk. A waifish 19-year-old with Alex's hazel eyes, fate's wink. Tubes snaked his arms. Monitors beeping Jamie's rhythm, but his grip on Alex's hand was iron. Heard. About your husband, Riley whispered, voice fogged by anesthesia. Thank you for carrying him. Alex choked up, Declan's hand on his back a steadying force. That night, in a Ronald McDonald house bunk, stories flowed. Declan's deployments in Hellmand, sandstorms mirroring inner turmoils. Alex's East LA youth, coming out amid quinceaneras and quakes. Riley's vigil violence, fists for loving boys in the open. Dawn brought climax's cusp. A call from San Francisco, Jamie's estate contested. Declan's parents, grieving, rigid, claimed the bulk. Arguing Alex's lifestyle invalidated common law assets. A lie. They were legally wed. They want the art. The savings. Declan relayed, fury etching his face. To honor him their way. Alex's blood boiled. The room, This borrowed space of faded quilts and coffee stains. Closing in. Betrayal tripled. Families greed on grief's corpse. Fight it, Riley urged from his bed, voice stronger. For us, the courtroom was virtual, a Zoom from the hospital annex. Judge Harlan, no relation, irony's jest presiding. Alex testified. Locket open on the stand chair. Jamie's words read aloud. All to Alex. My heart, my home. Declan's affidavit sealed it. I renounce their claim. Blood don't make family. Love does. The ruling. Full inheritance to Alex. A rebuke to legacy's thieves. Tears fell as the screen blanked. Catharsis crashing. But conflict crested higher. Riley's parents arrived. Uninvited. Bible in hand. Demanding reparative custody. He's our son, the mother wailed. Riley, monitors spiking, roared back. You lost me when you chose hate. Alex intervened, channeling Jamie's fire. Love isn't ownership. It's release. Security escorted them out. The room, now or antechamber, holding its breath. Riley stabilized. Parents barred. A new family forging in the fire. As snow dusted the Charles, Alex and Declan walked Riley's halls, bonds mending. Betrayal's embers cooled to resolve. A trust for Riley's tuition, murals planned in Jamie's name. But emotion's undercurrent pulled deeper. Declan's gaze lingering, a spark unbidden. Was it grief's camouflage, or something American true? Reinvention? Winter gripped Boston like a reluctant lover. Snow blanketing the common in hush white. Street lamps casting halos on bundled skaters. 3 weeks post-transplant. Riley was ambulatory, tentative laps around Mass General's atrium. Alex and Declan flanking like mismatched sentinels. The kid's color returned. Jamie's heart thrumming with borrowed vigor. He joked about hitting the clubs once discharged. Dancing for two now. Alex laughed. The sound foreign but welcome. Locket lighter against his chest. Declan, ever the protector, carried Riley's tray. His marine stride softened by civilian defeat. Humanistic tides turned slow. The inheritance battle's dust settled, but emotional wreckage demanded dredging. Back in their No Valley flat, sublet to a queer artist couple. Alex unpacked ghosts. Jamie's sketchbooks yellowing on shelves, his espresso maker gathering dust. Video calls with Declan bridged coasts. Talks veering from logistics, shipping Jamie's easel east. To confessions. I envied you, Declan admitted one pixelated night. Fire crackling in Alex's fireplace app. The way Jamie looked at you. Like you hung the moon. Alex paused. Wine glass midway. He saw me. Really saw. Silence stretched. Charged. Declan's nod was weighted. Betrayal's scar tissue yielding to possibility. Riley's discharge was fanfare. A small gathering in the hospital garden. Rainbow balloons bobbing against evergreens. The kid hugged Alex fierce. Vial of Jamie's ashes. The rest scattered at Baker Beach. Pressed into his palm. Plant this somewhere epic. For both of us. Declan's parents lurked at the edges. Uninvited but subdued. A truce of sorts. Letters of apology arriving via certified mail. Therapy cited. America's redemption arc. Flawed, but striving. Climax crested not in courts but quietude. A road trip. Jamie's dream deferred no more. Alex rented a Mustang convertible. Top-down defiance of January chill. Declan flew in. Riley shotgun with a thermos of clam chowder. Route 60 SIXS Echo. Boston to NYC. Galleries beckoning Jamie's legacy. First stop. The Berkshires. Snowshoeing trails where Alex spilled the Locket's full tale. Jamie's proposal under aurora-like fog. Their wedding's drag queen vows. Declan listened. Eyes tracing Alex's profile. The trans jawline he'd once dismissed now a map of courage. Conflict resurfaced in the Catskills. A diner off I-87, neon open flickering like doubt. Declan, over apple pie, broached it. I feel things. For you. Wrong timing. I know. Alex's fork stilled. Heart Jamie's echo racing. Betrayal specter. Loving again as disloyalty? Jamie wanted life, he said finally. Voice steady. Not a shrine. Declan's hand covered his, calloused from rifles now gentle. Then teach me how to love like that. Riley, from the booth's end, grinned slyly. Get a room, uncles. But make it epic. New York was revelation. Jamie's portfolio pitched at a Soho loft. Slides of murals projected on white walls. Trans figures rising from Castro concrete. Gay lovers etched in rainbow arcs. The curator, a wiry dyke named Lena with tattoos of Audre Lorde quotes, teared up. This is queer canon. We'll exhibit. Toasts at Stonewall Inn followed. Shots of Jameson for Jamie's Irish blood. Alex's tears mingling with laughter. On the High Line, city sprawl below. Declan kissed Alex. Tentative, then true under a blood moon. Skyline's pulse sinking their own. The end was humanistic. No tidy bow but open sky. Back in Boston for Riley's checkup. All clear, heart strong, life expansive. Alex scattered the ashes at Walden Pond. Thoreau's waters rippling with Jamie's whisper. Live deliberate. Declan stayed. Enlisting stateside at Hanscom AFB. Their bond a slow burn, hikes in the fells. Brunches with Riley's new chosen family. No grand proposals yet. America taught patience. Reinvention over rush. 1 year on. At LAX Anniversary Echo. Alex returning west for a conference. Security waved him through. Carla spotting his locket. Nodding. Heard about the kid. The show. Your legends. Alex smiled. Boarding light. Betrayal's lessons. Love betrays expectations, but endures. In the clouds. He texted Declan. Tethered still. See you in SF. The plane soared. America's heart vast. Beating on.